area in Arizona. I am a new mom. I have a 1.5-year-old, and he is just the best. I am loving being a mom. Totally gives me a new perspective when I'm at school and teaching kids. I love to read. I feel like everyone has been deciding that they love to read again, and I am one of those people. Totally got sucked into book talk and have been reading on my Kindle ever since. I teach at a K-6 school. I started sharing with other people through my YouTube channel and through my website back in 2019, and I love to make resources. So here's the situation. Here is what inspired this session is that I am so passionate about upper elementary because of my own struggles. I struggled real big with the older kids in the beginning of the years of my teaching. And it really frustrated me because I'm like, I know my students are not the problem, but it's just like, I feel like it's a battle with them and I felt like I couldn't engage them. And that was really frustrating for me. And I really feel like the root of the problem was I feel like there's a curriculum gap for these students. And so I found like all these resources and all these lessons for my younger students, and it would just be rainbows and butterflies. And then with my older students, it would just be like crickets. And so I am definitely looking into that. And so as I was kind of thinking about that, I found that there are a lot of roadblocks when it comes to teaching upper elementary. And so the number one complaint I heard from students is, oh, this is for babies. It's too juvenile. So I got that comment a lot. I got a lot of the curriculum is stuck in the past. So a lot of the resources available to me were kind of focused in on that classical period. And so it was just kind of hard for my students to connect with it. The same tricks were not working. So kind of K-3, whatever I was trying to do with them, I was trying to force it to happen with the older kids. And I kind of realized, wait, that's not going to work anymore. And this one's a lot of our control, but comes down to peers, the rocket science that goes behind class culture and peer relationships really make music an interesting place. So what's the solution? And the solution for me was starting to create my own lessons and really think about trying to give it more of a modern, fresh approach. So like when I feel like when students would come in, they'd be like, are we going to learn how to play guitar? Or, are we going to learn about Dua Lipa? Or, what they're talking about the more current things. And yeah, again, another roadblock is that a lot of current music is not appropriate for school. So how do we teach them about the music they want to hear without losing our jobs? So it can be really tricky. So I gave myself permission kind of K-3 because things were going great. I did not need to reinvent the wheel. And so I kept my lessons the same. I used a lot of lessons that other amazing music educators created. I used the curriculum that was provided for me, and I just, did the same things with K-3. And so that freed up time for me to start creating my own curriculum for 5th and 6th grade. So this session, I really want to talk about the units that I started creating for to the units that I started creating for my upper elementary kids and some of the trends I saw and talk about what worked. So as I was creating these units, I noticed some trends. A lot of them had to do with instruments, music theory, genres, music technology. I usually had a holiday connection still, and games, in all caps, games, because we love our games. Make anything a game and they'll do it. So here are some of the examples that I did for these units. So for music theory, I would talk about meter and rhythm and treble clef and chords. For instruments, I would do drum circles and bucket drumming and barred instruments, ukulele. I would do different genre units. I would kind of get away again from that kind of classical box that sometimes we get stuck in, and did rock and jazz and hip hop and reggae. Technology, I just recently got into technology. I just got a cart of iPads about, has it only been a year or two ago? And so this is kind of out of your control if you don't have access to technology. But I did Crow Music Lab. I've done theory games, Quaver games, Q Grooves. I've done Garage Band. And then finally, I keep that holiday and Heritage Month connection because I've noticed kids never grow out of that. And they love doing those holiday lessons and learning about different heritages. Right. So as I was creating these different units, I was thinking about also kind of phase one was just like, I'm just going to create new stuff and I'm going to test it out and see if it works. And so I did that and kind of kept what worked and threw out what didn't. And that was probably like a good couple of years, maybe 2 or 3 years that I was just creating stuff and putting it out there and seeing if it worked. And then as I've, gone throughout the years here, I've started to realize, hey, okay, now I need to like start implementing some structure to this. So I've been kind of flying by the seat of my pants, just trying things out. And now how am I going to structure it for my sanity and so that it has a clear, goal and message. So I started thinking about all the units I've created and what are my primary units? What are my quote unquote meat and potatoes? And so I looked back at my units and I was thinking, music theory and instruments tend to be majority of my quarter. So I really take a lot of time doing these units. And so I kind of pinpointed those. And then I also talked about GarageBand. GarageBand is kind of like an end of the year project for me, and they kind of apply everything they've learned. So that's why that music technology one has got a little bit on GarageBand for the meat and potatoes. So then if I structure this out, I'm like, okay, quarter one, I'm going to do meter and rhythm. And then that is going to lend itself to bucket drumming or drum circle. Then treble clef, barred instruments, chords, ukulele, and then GarageBand again. Everything we've learned, we're going to kind of put it together to make a song. Oh, and I missed one thing, this arrow right here. So really, I noticed that I would tend to set something up by doing the theory unit first that would lend itself to the instrument unit. And so I felt like that was a really good flow of like, I not only do I want you guys to, play instruments, but I want you to understand the theory that will help you to then play the instrument. So that was a really natural flow. Oh, and then we talk about mini units or quote unquote the snacks. So snacks are great. They're not going to fill you up like meat and potatoes, but they are still super fun. And who doesn't like a snack? So I looked into what are my snack units. Well, I think my genres units were definitely snack units, and those Crow Music Lab theory games that kind of get us ready for GarageBand were also my snack units. So then I sprinkle those in and I get a rock unit in quarter one and I do a reggae unit quarter three. Notice I don't have it every quarter because sometimes we're busy and we don't have time for the quote unquote snack. And that's because we have also treats. So these are I'm going to say loosely one-off lessons. They're not going to necessarily just be one lesson, but these are the lessons that are more timely. They might be within a certain month, like our heritage months, or they are going to be at a certain holiday. And they're just like the treat lessons, like students love them. And so let's look at what those would be. So those would be things like the holiday lessons and the Heritage Month lessons, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, March Madness. So I'm sprinkling those in, and I think those do a great job. They're not necessarily always at the end of the quarter. I'm just kind of structuring it out in this image, but they might I don't know, Black History Month starts in February. So we might be having in the middle of our ukulele unit, I'm going to throw in a few lessons on Black History Month. Or March Madness happens at the end. So I'm going to end with a nice kind of more relaxing March Madness tournament at the end of the quarter. Same thing with Hispanic Heritage Month. It's in September. So again, it kind of gets sprinkled in. And so these are the lessons that I keep it fresh with. So what I mean is when I first started with these theory and instrument lessons, I noticed the endurance of my students because these are the lessons that like they really, really, really have to think, and they have to work really hard because it is hard. Learning music is hard. It's very rewarding, but it's hard work. And so I would throw in these other lessons to just all of a sudden we were like, we've been playing ukulele for 3 or 4 lessons. And I'm like, okay, we're going to take a little break. Let's do a Black History Month lesson. Okay, we're back to ukulele. Like it just helps keep it fresh, and it helps just the holistic view of music and the enriching side of music. Okay, so now you have this structure, and this really helped me because I felt like I had so many times that I would have new lessons for my students the next day, and I'd be like, I have no idea what to do. And I can't even find something to do. And so it would be so overwhelming to try and find enough. I had this scarcity mindset of like, there's not enough lessons out there. And now I feel like when I look at it like this way, I'm like, how am I going to fit this all in? And it's actually a really nice feeling. It's not a bad feeling at all, because you're just like, I have so much I could do, looking at through the lens of this type of structure. So now that we've talked about, the roadblocks, the solution, the different units and trends that I saw that worked, and how to structure that throughout your year, let's start talking about the nitty gritty stuff. So like, what are the activities within these units that worked really well? I'm going to kind of do this my highlight reel. So I'm going to go through each category. So some of my music theory lessons, some of the instrument lessons, what do I got? Genres, and I also have like holiday connection and heritage connections. So I'm going to not share everything. So I'm going to share the highlights and the best things, but I just want to make sure I am going to show the whole entire unit plan just so you get an idea of the whole thing. I wish I could share every single little piece, but I'm just going to be sharing the highlights just due to time. Okay, so let's talk about the meter unit. So this is one of the very first units I do with my upper elementary kids in the beginning of the year. And we're going to be talking about meter. And I feel like we talk about like ta and tt and ticka ticka, and sometimes I don't quite get to in the younger years, like talking about like how to structure a measure, what is a bar line, what is a time signature. And I really want my students to be reading off sheet music and really know how to read music. So I'm going to take them to that next level of like, hey, remember all that rhythm that we did and all of that, those rhythm syllables that we used. Here's how we're going to structure that rhythm within a song now. And so we talk about meter. So lesson 1, we talk about what is meter, and we play meter tag. Meter tag, if you don't know, is so fun. I'll go through just a little synopsis, even though it's not my highlight. So meter tag, we talk about meter is the combination of strong and weak beats. So we have meter of 2, strong, weak. We have meter of 3, strong, weak, weak. And finally, meter of 4, strong, weak, weak, weak. And so I have them practice. I have them in a scattered formation around the room, and I don't even add the game yet. I just say, everybody, I'm going to put on metronome, and you're going to hear that strong beat is going to be a different sound than the weak beat. And I do start with meter of 4 because it's the easiest. So everyone, you can only take a step on the strong beat. The rest you cannot. So it'll be like step, wait, 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 step, wait, wait, wait. And so I put that metronome on and I have them practice it. And once they feel comfortable and kind of see they're feeling that meter, then I will add the game. And essentially it's just tag. You're going to pick 1, maybe 2 people to be the taggers. You're going to have them start it, again, scattered out around the room. And you're going to say, ready, set, and here you go. And they're going to play tag. But the twist is they only can move on 1. So you'll see everybody shift. It'll be like, 1, wait, 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 1, wait, wait, wait. And so those taggers are going to be going around trying to tag people, but they can only step on the strong beat also. So it kind of slows them down, so it allows you to play tag in your classroom. The other twist is you can have, it's always, they get like, so there's such anxiety on it, but as long as you've got a group that can handle it, because some of them are like, we cannot handle it. You can have them, everyone close their eyes, and you don't tell them who the taggers are. So you have them close their eyes, raise your hand if you want to be a tagger, and you might like give them a quiet high five or a touch on the hand if they're the taggers. And then you'll have people put hands down, open eyes. And so when they start the game, they don't know who the taggers are. And so they're all looking suspiciously at each other and waiting for that first person to be tagged who sits down because they're out. And then they're all like, it's this person. So they really like that. Okay, the other one is, lesson 2 is meter 2, 3, and 4. We use a tennis ball to create different patterns, and we do those 2 different music examples. So I'll put on a song that's in meter of 2, usually it's like a march, and we'll be like bounce, catch, bounce, catch, bounce, catch to it, all of that. Lesson 3 is on time signatures, and I do this through this human bar lines game. So Human Bar Lines is a game that does take some setup, but it's very fun. So essentially the students are becoming the bar lines. So you're going to have, I believe it's 9 music stands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, 9 music stands. And you are going to print out some determined rhythm patterns. So I'm going to have a time signature of 2/4, 3/4, or 4/4. And then, so let's say you have a packet of 8 rhythms that are going to be selected here, or 8 patterns. So let's say the first one says 4/4, and then it's quarter note, half note. There's nothing going to be here. Then it's quarter note, rest, quarter note. So you're going to pre-select the order of this. And that, again, that's the part that's time sensitive. If you don't want to do it, I do have this on my TBT store if you would like to take a look at it. But essentially, I put them on rings. So the pre-selected patterns, I have helpers in the back, and they would and I would have it labeled as like 1, the 1 pattern. And all of these have labels 1, so that they can just flip to 2. So they're punched in the rings. They flip it over. Now it's the 2 pattern. Now it's the 3 pattern. Now the 4 pattern. Then we're going to also have our teams here. So we have team 1, team 2, team 3, team 4. And then I have an area of 2 chairs where they can be extra bar lines if they don't need some of their team. So the first group is going to go. It's going to be the first selection here. And again, let's say it's that quarter note, half note, quarter note, rest, quarter note. So then the students are going to work together to try and figure out where the bar lines would go. So if it's 4/4, they're going to be like, okay, they're going to put someone right here. So one person is going to stand there, and then they're going to go and they're going to put another person here, and they're going to do a double bar line because it's the end, and they're going to have one person that sits in the chair because they have an extra person. Then those kids that just went, if they get it correct, great. If they don't, that's okay. Then they go and they become the helpers. The helper team goes to the back, and we move up again. And then it's team 2's turn. Team 2, they flip it over. Now it's a 3/4 pattern. And so there's different rhythms. They try and do it. Then they become the helpers, and then they go to the back, and everybody scoots up 1. And so my students had a lot of fun with just, running up and trying to get into the right bar line area. I even would display the answer for them so that they could see visually where they went wrong or where they went right. So that is human bar lines. And then, that's right, I need to go back. And then I would end with the composing lesson, which is lesson 4, and it is meter meals. And so again, they're kind of taking everything they learned and applied, and they're going to be composing something that I use different like foods and pretend they're at a diner, and they have to put in the correct bar lines. Next, instruments. So instruments, I'm not going to go really very specifically into each instrument piece that I do, but I do want to put an emphasis and give you guys some helpful tips when you go do instruments with the older kids. I really believe that we should be doing more performance pieces. So not just kind of random play along videos, but they do have a time and place, but not as random, not like little non-pitch percussion things, I think we really should be trying to play some more difficult pieces, some more performance feeling pieces. So what I mean by that is like for quarter one, I do ensemble one from world drumming. And I have had the students, it's like I think 5 parts, 5 or 6 parts. And so I have the students set up that drum circle. They all learn all the parts. It takes probably 5 to 7 lessons to put together. So it's going to take a lot of practice. I also try and do instrument pieces where uh, as much as I can, I know this is out of your control, but I've collected instruments so that almost everyone does have an instrument or is sharing an instrument. So there's no really downtime of like kids waiting for their turns. That's where I feel like I would lose kids a lot of the time in these upper grades is like it's just too much downtime waiting for an instrument. And I know that's a little out of people's control depending on what they have and their budget and all of that, but working towards that. The other performance piece I like to do is Carol of the Bells. There's an amazing arrangement on, oh, the name is escaping me right now. Let me see if I can find it real quick for you guys because I don't want to, I want to give credit. Carol of the Bells, Orff arrangement. Yes, Teaching with Orff. And it is Cindy Giebler, Giebler. She has an awesome arrangement of Carol of the Bells for barred instruments, and I love playing this, during Christmas time. But and then the other one is that I like to do is Lion Sleeps Tonight. I do use a play along video for this one. I use a C. This is for ukulele. I use a C, F, A minor, and G7. And what I really like about this one though is adding in, if you have bass bars, it's so cool to add in that C, F, and G. And it just adds so much to the arrangement. So, and we usually do like a form where we sing it or we play the chords and sing, then we just do chords, then we just sing it. So we do some different kind of form things with it. So with all of these performance pieces, the other element is, so we're playing a more difficult pieces that are going to take multiple lessons to learn. We're trying to work towards everybody having an instrument or sharing an instrument. We're trying to get a little bit more creative with how we're going to keep those students engaged while they're having wait time. The other 2 parts that I thought have figured out that have really helped is I got this from my colleague. She talked about how she records her kids and she just does voice memos or like just records on the phone. So I used to do like video recordings, but kids would get so stuck on like how they looked or they would comment about someone else. And so and they would just get, kind of nervous about being video recorded, but there's something about just doing an audio recording that kids really like, and they can focus more on the listening part, the music part, than the appearance. So I will record my kids, especially like kind of when we're starting to get the full piece and kind of have them listen to it and say, hey, like, what do we need to work on? What's going well? What's not? And then, we can kind of continue to improve on that. And we can hear that in the recording sessions. It's also cool just to, record them and you don't have to worry about, no media kids or kids that can't be in video. And then you could like send the recording to their parents, like the final recording. The other thing is informances. So not performances, informances. And it's kind of just like an informal performance. So not a new idea unless it is for you, but it is the idea that you're not going to have this big performance after school concert, but you are going to have have like a class come watch your kids perform, or you might have it in your classroom, invite some parents that could come, or you might have them go perform the song for the office staff. So I found that like having an end goal where you are going to be performing for a group really helped without the big commitment of like the after school concert. So instrument pieces, I would just say, just trying to make it more worthwhile for them, more rewarding, because it is really hard work to put these things together. Our next up is the rock unit. So I have a quite a few genre units that I have developed over the years, and they're really fun. And I always love to intro the genre unit with the kind of same style games. I call it the playlist game. And what I do is I put around my room, I put some of the best well-known icons of that genre. So with my rock people, I put up like a picture of the Beatles around the room, Tina Turner, Queen, Little Richard, who else? Who else? Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry. So I put that around the room, and then I have developed a rock playlist, and all these songs are appropriate or a very good portion of them are appropriate. And so what I will do is I will just shuffle that, and I tell the students, hey, we're going to see how much we know about this certain type of music, and in this case, rock music. And I have all of these rock icons posted around the room. I'm going to play a song, and you're going to guess which singer or group sang this song. And so they have to go stand by their guess. And if they're correct, they stay in the game. If they're incorrect, they are out of the game. But the twist is a lot of times, because it is newer music to them, it's or older music to them, they have to. Oh, I just realized my reindeers are better than people is on there. Ignore that. My son is absolutely obsessed with Frozen. I do not play that in my rock playlist. But anyways, they have to go and stand by it. And but if everyone gets it wrong, which usually does happen at some point, then everybody's in the game again. And the game starts over. And if you're paying attention, you can try and I will go back through the same order so you can try and stay in the game longer. And so this is just a great way for them to kind of hear the songs and like connect. A lot of times if they don't know the picture of the person, they're like, oh, I know this song, like I've heard this before. And so I think it's just really a really fun way to intro a different unit or a different genre. So then after that, I usually highlight about 3 to 4 icons of the genres. So in this case, Chuck Berry, Elvis Presley, the Beatles, Tina Turner. And I really try to have them connect with their music in some way that's outside of a worksheet. I am not super, I think worksheets have a time place? Absolutely. I really want them active and up and moving. So I've developed some different tennis ball routines. I actually have the Chuck Berry one on my YouTube channel if you ever want to check it out. So that they're just getting up and they're hearing the music and actually interacting with it. All right. Next up, holidays and heritage months. So I just wanted to give you just a little kind of sprinkle of some activities that I do throughout the year. So September is Hispanic Heritage Month. Something that I've done with my kids is focus on the song La Bamba, and that this is super easy to play on boomwhackers or on xylophones. And so that's like da 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 bamba, da, 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 that part. So when they go da 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 C F G G G G C F G G G G. I switched keys, but I'm gonna say it there. So they can play the bass line super easy on there. And so I think that's a really easy thing. We talk about the artist, we talk about how iconic the song is. So that has been a really great one for Hispanic Heritage Month. Okay, Turkey Gobbler. In November, I played this song. So the song goes, Turkey, Turkey Gobbler, please run away, or someone will find you on Thanksgiving Day. So we are in a seated circle for this game, and this game is like Marco Polo with a twist. So I pick two turkeys, and I pick one farmer to go into the middle. Everybody else is in the seated circle is the fence. And so the two turkeys get these things called quack sticks. So if you've ever seen these things, they're called quack sticks. They're supposed to sound like a duck. I really think they sound like a turkey gobbler or a turkey gobble. So what they do is the farmer closes his or her eyes, and they have to say turkey, and the turkeys have to respond with their gobble. So it's like turkey, gobble, turkey, gobble. But again, they don't have to say gobble because this instrument does the gobbling for them. And so they have about, I think I do 30 seconds up to a minute where the farmer is trying to tag the turkey, one of the turkeys. And how they're going to do that is, again, their eyes are closed. So they have to listen for the gobble, and they're trying to find them. This one, they ask for all of the time. The only thing that's tricky about this game is keeping the fence quiet. So that the farmer can hear. So I talk about how a fence doesn't talk. A fence doesn't have a voice. So everybody, shh, so the farmer can hear. Next, March Madness. March Madness is so fun. You can do so many things with March Madness, and uh, and kind of a nice, kind of easier lesson for you is doing any of these brackets. So people make these. I found this one off of I think I'm a general music teacher Facebook group last year, and she did this twist on Technicolor. So every game is a battle between the colors. So I used this one last year, and how I like to do this is I will print off this bracket for them. I will have them get into small groups, and usually it's like 2 to 3, not too many. And then they're going to listen to the 2 songs. And then I will give them time to talk and vote on their favorite, and then they will write on their paper or if they're dry erase sleeve, which one moved on. And so, because before I've done this, I've done it as a class, and I just feel like it gives them a better experience being able to talk about it more with a small group, and they get more of like what they want. Where with the whole class could be a little tricky. So this has been really fun. And then finally, let's go on to AAPI Heritage Month. This Maori is the indigenous group of New Zealand. They have a stick game that my kids have really liked. So let me press play to give you guys an idea of what that looks like if you've never seen one. Ew. I can't press play. Okay, note to self in Canva: when you present and record, you cannot play YouTube videos. But I will just kind of talk you through it, and you can look up, here's the name of the YouTube video right here. So essentially in the Maori people, they had these hunting like training sessions where they would be throwing essentially weapons and, fast, really fast paced, and working on their hand-eye coordination. So that turned into this stick game where they are tossing in between the people really quickly in these intricate tosses. And so it's really fun. And my kids are really impressed by it. And so I teach them a version of that through this song. And so I teach them the song mostly. I do have a recording that helps them out. And so there are 3 parts to this, and I'm going to use my trusty Flair pen and Expo marker to show you, but I do use rhythm sticks or Luby sticks with the students. So the egg section is going to be floor, tap, tap, floor, tap, tap, floor, tap, tap, floor, tap, tap. And the floor, you're actually going to tap the bottom part on the ground. for the B section, and this is the easy version first. I don't do the hard version. So there's a level 1 and a level 2. It's going to be floor, down, floor. And I do it side to side. So it'd be floor, down, floor, floor, down, floor, floor, down, floor, floor, down, floor. And then finally, the C section is going to be floor, tap, right with your partner, floor, tap, left, floor, tap, right, floor, tap, left. So that's the C section, and you're just going to follow that form. So you'd be like, A, oh, hold on a second. A section. A, away, da, 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 away. You get the idea. Forgive me for not saying the words. It's been a little while since I've taught this, and you really do have to do your homework. The level 2, A section stays the same. Floor, tap, tap. B, though, now becomes, make sure I'm in the window here, floor, down, and then you flip yours. See if I can do it without losing my markers. So it's going to be floor, down, flip. And that was really, really hard for them. And then, and me too. And then C section is going to be floor, tap, toss. So you have to toss your rhythm sticks to each other and catch each other's rhythm sticks. Floor, tap, toss. Floor, tap, toss. So this one, it gets a little crazy. And it's definitely very difficult, but they have fun with it, and it's just so cool. I have another game from the Maori people that I play with them. Has nothing to do with music, but it is so much fun. It's going to be too hard to explain it. I'll put it in my notes. I'll put it in my notes for you guys so you can see it. Okay. And I got to wrap it up there. Thank you guys so much for watching my session. I hope you got some good information. Hopefully this will give you a better idea of how to structure your year with your kids and learn some new lesson/unit ideas that would work hopefully in your classroom too. You can find me pretty much on Music and Motivate everywhere. I am on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, YouTube. My email is musicandmotivate@gmail.com, and my website where I blog is musicandmotivate.com also. Thank you guys so much. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome to Units That Work. This is going to be a session about unit